Coming in, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman reaching the Finance Ministry. She left her residence a short while earlier. Karishma Sudani joins us from there. It's her 8th successive budget and she's really grown in stature over these 8 years. She, for the large part, still prefers to stay under the radar, low profile, not quite as high profile as the likes of, say, a Chidambaram or a Pranab Mukherjee or even an Arun Jaitley, Karishma. But quietly and asserting herself, she's grown in stature to play a bigger role than she did. And, you know, Chetan Bhutani also joins us from Business Today Television. Chetan, 8 successive budgets for the Finance Minister. You know, she's really creeping in on the likes of Mr. Chidambaram and Pranab Mukherjee in terms of who has the record for the maximum budgets.
Well, absolutely. You know, if we talk about the previous budgets, we see, and you correctly pointed out that, you know, she's actually grown in stature and now she commands a visibility in the union government. Even in the cabinet meetings, we see, you know, Nirmala Sitharaman sitting with quite a stature. And in fact, Narendra Modi government actually had quite a women representation. We saw Sushma Swaraj also as the foreign minister, and of course, Nirmala Sitharaman as the finance minister for many years. She presents now her 8th budget. But now, what really the hope would be, Rahul, is that fact that, you know, the focus on capital expenditure. The government in the past 5 years has spent close to about 54 lakh crore rupees for capital expenditure, and again the hope rises that this budget would be accounting for more allocation for capital expenditure. In fact, in June 2024, we saw Nirmala Sitharaman in fact allocating 11 lakh crore rupees for spending in the capital expenditure, and now what we see for the roads and the railway sector, there would be significant allocations as well. We are expecting the highway sector allocation to be close to about 2.85 lakh crore rupees, and for railways it could touch about 3 lakh odd crore rupees, which marks a significant allocation, because remember, the government and the Minister of Road Transport and Highways would be developing more and more of greenfield and brownfield projects under the Bharat Mara Pariyojana. In fact, when the railways is concerned, the government could allocate about 3 lakh odd crore rupees, which approximately indicates about 6 to 8% hike in this budget, which is a massive allocation, Rahul, because if the industry has to perform and the capital expenditure needs to be pumped money into the system, we have to have more money coming in from private investments as well. And the government would be, of course, wanting to have more private investors for spending more capex as well.
Chetan Bhutani for joining us. Thank you very much. It's you know, interesting how a lot of pundits are putting so much onus on the government's capital expenditure as being the key driver of India's economic growth, whereas there are other engines of the economy and those two need to be looked at, rather than the government just going out and spending. And ultimately, if you look at the speed at which highways are growing year after year, it's now starting to plateau because there's only a certain amount of roadway network that can be built up, after which the law of diminishing returns sets in. So you've got Arun Kejriwal joining in. He's a leading market expert. The last couple of days, we've seen the markets bounce back, but over the medium term, we've seen multiple corrections. So Mr. Kejriwal, you know, from the lens of a market operator, what are the key triggers and cues that you'd be looking out for in the finance minister's speech, which you think could help the markets recover? The BSE, for example, at 77,000 currently, go back to 85,000 and beyond.
Rahul, this is probably the first budget that comes to mind where expectations from the market are not too many. I believe this is a great thing. This is a great thing to start off with, because the market has sort of leveled off expectations. The one thing that the market does expect is that disposable income in the hands of the middle class, call it the lower middle class, the middle class, is that it would go up with some sort of personal income tax breaks. This could induce a lot of consumption-based expenditure that happens. Of course, there would be plenty of expenditure happening on the capex side from the government. These two put together could be the growth driver that the market is looking for, from a perspective where you have industry doing well because there is consumption-led expenditure, you have capex happening from the government, and probably that stalling sort of an economy where we are getting a little stuck could be back on track.
Okay.